Think about the last time the power went out at your house. No lights, no phone, no TV. Just darkness and whatever was already in the room with you. For most people, that lasts maybe 2 hours before everything comes back on. But for the first few 100,000 years of human existence, that was just called nighttime. Every single night. With no idea when or if things would get brighter. So what did they actually do? Before fire, early humans lived roughly half their lives in total darkness. The only light came from the moon when the sky was clear, which it frequently wasn't. Night was dangerous. Predators were active. The sensible move was to sleep, stay quiet, and wait for sunrise. Pressed together in groups, probably up a tree or in a cave, almost certainly terrified. Then, around 400,000 years ago, everything changed. Fire didn't just keep you warm, it didn't just cook your food. It did something nobody talks about. It gave humans their first extra hours. Hours that didn't exist before. Hours where you could see each other's faces, stay awake, and do something other than survive. The question researchers started asking wasn't what ancient humans did during the day. We know that. Hunt, gather, build tools, argue about territory. The interesting question is what they did with all that new firelit time after the sun went down. And the answer was surprisingly specific. They told stories. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent decades studying the Jew/Han Bushmen of the Kalahari, one of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth. During daylight hours, about 80% of conversations were practical. Complaints, work, food, conflict, normal human business. But after dark, around the fire, 81% of the conversation was stories. Stories about people who weren't there. Myths, jokes, gossip about someone 3 villages over who did something nobody could believe. Healers would go into trances, people would sing, communities would dance. Daytime talk enforces social rules. Nighttime talk builds culture. The stories told around a fire weren't entertainment the way we think of it. They were how humans transmitted values, built trust with strangers, and maintained relationships across distances too far to visit. You couldn't write anything down. You couldn't send a message. The story, told out loud in shared firelight, was the only technology you had. One researcher called it the original social media, which is exactly what it was. There's one more thing ancient humans did at night that nobody talks about. They didn't sleep the way we do. You probably think of sleep as one block. Go to bed, wake up 8 hours later. Done. But research into hunter-gatherer sleep patterns suggests that for most of human history, sleep looked completely different. People would sleep for 3 or 4 hours, wake naturally, tend the fire, talk quietly, and then sleep again before dawn. Many languages had specific words for first sleep and second sleep as common ways of marking time. The middle of the night wasn't insomnia. It was just part of the night. This pattern shows up in medieval European texts, in field studies of hunter-gatherer communities across 4 continents, and in sleep labs where people were kept from artificial light. Without electric light tricking your brain, humans naturally split the night in half, which means if you wake up at 2 a.m. unable to get back to sleep, you're not broken. You're doing exactly what humans evolved to do, just without a fire, which is admittedly a lot less fun. So here's what ancient humans actually did at night. Slept in 2 halves, tended the fire, told each other stories, sang, laughed at people who weren't in the room, and stared into a flame in the middle of complete darkness. Which sounds, honestly, like a pretty good evening. We replaced all of it with our phones, and the fire went out so slowly we didn't even notice it.